Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video with Turles recently being revealed as the next Dokkan Fest, and we're starting to get some teasers in the news on Global of what's coming up next. I'm going to go through the entirety of Dokkan Fest Phys Turles' celebration details to let you know what's coming and what's on the way. So once again, let me know down in the comments, will you be summoning for him? Let me know. If not, let me know too, and while you're there, don't forget to drop a like, subscribe if you're new. Let's get into this. So starting off is standard procedure as always. There's going to be a new login bonus, there are going to be new missions, more rewards, more stones, more resources, things like that. Then we have the Dokkan Fest. Of course, it's a Dokkan Fest, it's a new celebration. There's always a new Dokkan Festival and a banner, right? Exactly. In terms of his banner, which I think this picture, I always forget his name, but of the ball bag, the bollock, this SSR art for him is hilarious. Like, how are you telling me he looks like an evil bollock? Do you know what I mean? He looks like he would yap at your ankles, like just nibble on your toes. It's hilarious. But in terms of Turles' banner, it's not great. It's really not great. Don't get me wrong, I've said this before, Turles himself, while it wasn't the extreme unit at the time everyone wanted, he's still a very good unit. He just wasn't the extreme unit or on the level of what extreme units actually needed and what everyone wanted at the time. But he's actually a very good unit. He works really, really well. He performs really, really well. And it's a very much a Ginyu situation, as I mentioned on his details. He works really well with these two as an amazing slot 1 unit with links, the support, everything. And as I said, he's just pretty good. It just wasn't what everyone was looking for. Now, we've already gone through the new Dokkan Fest and the two side banners details, so I'm not going to go through them again. If you do want to check them out, I will leave down in the comments. I'll pin it, the details and animations video for Turles if you want to check it out yourself, or you could just hop on the wiki and look for those for yourself. In terms of the featured units, there really isn't any value here. Yamcha, I'm not gonna lie, he's still a fun unit, he's still pretty good. It's just outside of him being pretty good, he's kind of aged with how hard content's hitting nowadays. You know, his team kind of isn't up to scratch to be attempting, you know, red zone runs against Zamasu. He's showing his age a little bit, especially with the direction we're going in with difficult content. The same could be said for Bardock. Turles, of course, has an easy A, but by this point it's incredibly outdated. And Strength Bojack really does need some help with a new Bojack. I've been saying for a while, Dokkan Fest Full Power Bojack when? Because then it would help this guy out. He could also get an easy A. And then the LR has a good partner as well, because of course that's Bojack in his squad. But in terms of value, there really isn't anything here. I mean, if you're missing some of these units, like a Yamcha or Bardock, you have the coins and you want them that badly, pick them up. As I said, Yamcha's not bad. He's still decent-ish. He's still a lot of fun to use. I don't personally have him, but you know, from what I've seen from Yamcha, he looks like a lot of fun to use. He just doesn't really have much of a place right now for a lot of the content we have going on and how short and how difficult it is. The Masu being the main example. But again, if you're missing him and you really want this Dokkan Fest Yamcha, or the same could be said for Bardock, pick them up with coins. But considering the Dokkan Fests we've got potentially returning, you know, Dokkan Fests we've potentially got coming out, or that are going to be coming out in the next few months, and when they come back, they're a lot more valuable than, say, these two. So even though we're kind of on course, waiting for the thank you celebration on Global, waiting for LRS to stay for Goku, you're probably not going to want to summon on this banner anyway, and you're probably not going to when you use your coins. So what Turles is, as I said, actually pretty good. Like, he's really good. His banner has next to no value right now, if I'm being completely honest. Carrying on through the details though, of course, we have the new Dokkan event. We have a new DB story, which is going to be, of course, around the movie, the Tree of Might. And with that, of course, you can pick up along the way the Strength SR Turles that's been in the game for years, like literal years. You can farm him up for free, completely max him out, rainbow him, and then through this celebration and that story event, he will awaken into this SSR Turles and Dokkan awaken into this guy, and he has a free-to-play Turles you can get from this celebration, who, leader skill is terrible, it's neither here nor there. He will raise attack and defense by 30% for 1 turn, cause supreme damage to the enemy. On passive, will get Ki +2, attack and defense plus 120%, then gain an additional attack and defense plus 90% performing a super attack. All enemies minus 30% attack. Not bad, it's not bad. 30% chance of stunning the attacked enemy, then gain an additional attack and defense plus 60% and have a 30% chance of guarding all attacks when facing 2 or more enemies. So he's actually a pretty decent free-to-play option for Super Battle Road, ESBR, those kind of events. I know a 30% chance isn't that good of a chance for guard, but it's kind of one of those scenarios of he has it rather than he doesn't, even though 30% chance isn't that good, but it's there. And of course, as I said, he's going to be good for Super Battle Road and ESBR because he only will have that when facing 2 or more enemies. And he also has a chance of evading enemies' attack plus 30% when the target enemy is an attack down. So that is also there. So he does have some decent kind of defensive capabilities and versatility if it pops. If it pops. He's not a bad free-to-play unit. He's okay. Link says brutal beatdown, same warrior race, prepared for battle, destroyer of the universe, thirst for conquest, big bad bosses, which is going to be very nice to get that active, and shattering the limit. His categories are low class warrior, movie bosses, pure saiyans, terrifying conquerors, space traveling warriors, and planetary destruction. Continuing on, of course, we do have a new prime battle event. This is also already in the news. We're getting LR Dr. Wheelo. After all these years, he's finally getting some rep in the game. We got Wheelo. He's terrible. He's terrible. I'm pretty sure they also put his details and animations on Twitter today, so again, if you want to check them out, you've probably already seen them. He is terrible. He is doo-doo. But hey, he's a free-to-play prime battle LR. You can get stones from it, things like that. You might as well grind it. Auto mode exists. And yeah, LR Dr. Wheelo exists. Dr. Wheelo's finally got some rep. Then we have the EZA returning for the AGL Turles, which of course will get or open up side EZAs. More characters can be EZA'd during the celebration, and he's actually pretty good. And that is the side EZA for Great Ape Turles. He's actually pretty good. On super attack, he'll greatly raise attack by 50% for 1 turn, cause supreme damage of a high chance of stunning. He'll then on passive get attack and defense plus 120%, then gain ki plus 3 and an additional attack and defense plus 120% when ki is 9 or more. Shouldn't be too difficult getting this, like really shouldn't, considering he's a standard TUR. You'll then get an additional defense plus 120% when there are 5 or more space traveling warrior category allies on the team. And if you're running the new Turles' lead, it's not really very difficult to activate this or trigger it. Even if we look at like space traveling warrior category units, again, you're running his team, naturally space traveling warrior units are included in that. Same can be said for both side banner units as well. And then there are also the likes of, who do we have in here? You have LR Final Form Cooler, who could probably still do a job. I mean, you'd have to protect him. He does kind of need dupes, but he could still do a job. There's also this guy himself. He doesn't exclude himself, right? No, that also does include him. And there is also the likes of, do we actually have anyone else in here? No, I mean, Space Traveling Warriors it's getting on a bit in terms of age. I mean, this guy's in there, but so much short form content recently is kind of not in Strength Cooler's favor. Bless him, he was such a good EZA when he dropped, and he's still been amazing. But yeah, the short content is really not in his favor. So I mean, if you don't pull for the new Turles and get the new side banner units, getting all those Space Traveling Warrior category units on the team, or 5 to be specific, which would be the DOKKANFEST, 2 side banner units, this guy, that's 4, and then 1 more. You're probably going to miss out on this defense plus 120%, which is a shame. He also launches an additional attack, does a 50% chance of becoming a super attack when there is another planetary destruction category ally attacking in the same turn or low class warrior category enemy. Nice that you have 2 options. Again, the DOKKANFEST are options, including other planetary destruction units. Golden Freezer's a big one. Still use them in content nowadays, of course. Side banner units that are coming out with Turles, that's 3 of them already. Who else do we have in here? EZA Cell, LR Final Form Cooler. Still a shame these guys didn't get an EZA during the celebration, because that could have been another one, but unfortunately didn't, so we're going to have to wait. AGL Golden Freezer's another one. Who else do we have in here? Tech Golden Freezer, I mean, doesn't get used that often, but he can still be an option. Who else do we have? That's probably about it. So you have a few more options to kind of pick from there, and then low class warrior, I can't imagine there's too many in here you're going to be running. Again, aside from probably Turles himself, right? These are mainly Bardock squad units, and Gokus. And realistically, who are you going to be using here? I mean, 23rd World Tournament Goku is here. Like, but how often are you going to kind of put Turles, or this Turles specifically, on a team that involves him, like, if we're being realistic? Especially with, like, big bad bosses and stuff like that. So this ain't too difficult to activate. But again, it does kind of mainly depend on are you going to be summoning for the new DOKKANFEST Turles, and if you pull him? And again, considering what's coming and not many people caring about DOKKANFEST Phys Turles, kind of puts him in a sticky spot. But if you do summon for him and you do pull him, will help this guy out a lot, and also link pretty well with him. Not only that, will turn into a giant ape when conditions are met, and then when he transforms into a giant ape, he has a chance of turning into a giant ape up to 2 times. And then when he goes into Great Ape, he will greatly raise attack by 50% for 1 turn, cause destructive damage to the enemy, then get ki +3 and attack +50%. Unfortunately for that Turles, he's kind of come at a point where we have even more difficult short form content, which, you know, does kind of accelerate and speed up his aging. Of course, there's going to be another Ultimate Clash. It's going to be the 60th one. We're going to get a step up Dragonstone cell for keys of the past. So if you do pick up these keys or spend money on the game, there is another opportunity for you to pick up some of these and max out and link level some of your units. And then we have the EZA, which is the big one, which is LR Go Bros, and they are pretty nutty. These came instead of the LR Turles squad getting an EZA, but they are pretty sick, I won't lie to you. So once they EZA, they will give ki +4 and the 170 to siblings bond, and then for Goku's family, they'll give ki +3 and give the 170 on 12 ki. They'll stack attack by 50%, raise defense by 30%, cause colossal damage to the enemy. On 18, we'll pretty much do the exact same thing, but cause mega colossal damage to the enemy instead. On their passive, they'll get attack and defense plus 158%. Launch an additional attack, there's a 50% chance of becoming a super attack, which of course is really nice, considering they stack on both 12 and also 18k supers. And then gain an additional ki +1 per type keys for obtained. Then get ki +1, attack and defense plus 10% of each attack performed, up to ki +5 and attack and defense plus 100%, which that built-in additional is going to help you do. And considering they're a unit that came out in 2019, you may have some dupes in them as well, so you're going to get some extra additionals on the potential system, which will not only do more damage, will stack them up a bit more, stack them up a bit quicker, help them do even more damage later down the line, and also build this part of their passive up quicker as well. They'll then gain an additional attack and defense plus 59% and launch another additional attack, which also has a 50% chance of becoming a super attack when your team has an ally whose name includes Goku attacking in the same turn, which when you consider some of the slot 1 Goku units or just Goku units in the game, there are a plethora. Like if we pull these up, there are a ton that can be used in content right now. I mean, he is the main character after all, but there's not this guy. But there is the Kai opening Goku, there's 23rd World Tournament Goku, who else do we have in here so I don't really miss any. There is also the likes of Birdku, still a great shout, Spirit Bomb Absorb Goku, still pretty good, Z Carnival Goku is also good. Do we have anyone else in here? Of course, God Goku, of course that's his Super Saiyan active skill, but God Goku is definitely one of them. There are a ton. As long as they include the name Goku, these guys are good, and they will get that extra additional, which of course means they could potentially super attack 3 times in 1 turn, do some pretty nice damage, but more importantly, build out their passive quicker and stack their attack a lot quicker. And then not only that as well, they will also gain an additional attack plus 59% when activating the active skill or when ki is 24, and they'll also disable Rampage. Then on their active skill, can massively raise attack temporarily, cause ultimate damage to the enemy, which their active skill should be hitting. Won't hit as good as it possibly could, because again, right now we are in very short content, very short hard-hitting content, so they probably won't have too much time to stack. But if they can stack a lot, especially the built-in additionals, which will help them, their active skill should be doing a ton of damage, especially if you crit. And the active skill conditions can be activated when HP is 59% or less and facing only 1 enemy, which is kind of perfect considering that's all you face in like difficult content right now in Red Zone. Starting from the 3rd turn, which are very good active skill conditions. The only thing that might be tricky depending on your team build is getting your HP down to 59% or below, but shouldn't be too difficult. Shouldn't be too difficult considering how often I've triggered Birdku's revival, which is I think the same or like an extra 10%. Oh no, I'm pretty sure it's the same. I'm pretty sure it's 59%. Shouldn't be difficult to get that at all. So very good active skill conditions, and will be ready for you pretty much when you need it. Cannot wait to use these two. I made a max links video on them months and months ago before their EZA became a thing, and they were still hard hitting back then. Cannot wait to use their EZA when it does indeed drop. They are ready for their EZA. We have a new ESBR stage, which I'm pretty sure is going to be... It's going to be one of these. It's going to be one of these. I'm pretty sure it's Inhuman Deeds, if we haven't already got that, or Earthlings. I can't actually remember where we're up to. I'm not entirely sure which one it is. I'm not going to lie to you, but it'll be one of these. I said most likely Earthlings or Inhuman Deeds. I can't remember if we've got either of these yet, but it'll probably be one of them. So that just means more stones. Not too difficult to do those stages nowadays. Of course, we're also going to get a new chain battle, which is going to be against Great Ape Kid Gohan. And then we're also going to get new stages of quest mode as well, which is always nice. Then in part 2 is where we will get the LR Goku that will drop, who unfortunately isn't too great. This is what his banner is looking like. It's him, Golden Frieza, the Gohan and Goku, which has kind of been featured on like almost every carnival banner on global recently. So can't imagine people really want these guys too bad. In terms of the featured units, you know what? They're not bad. Golden Frieza, Yajirobe's still pretty good. And the Ato that works really well with Path to Power Kid Goku. That's a pretty good featured units, I'm not gonna lie. Unfortunately, again, because of the time this celebration's happening, a lot of people are going to be saving their stones for the LRSSJ4 Goku. And this guy just isn't very good. In terms of what he does, he will lead movie heroes a final trump card with the key +4 and 150. On 12 key, he will raise attack by 50%, cause colossal damage to the enemy. And on 18 key, raise attack and defense by 50%, cause mega colossal damage to all enemies. So does have an AoE. Could use him in ESBR. You know, we are getting a new one in this celebration. We're also getting a new Super Battle Road as well. You could use him in World Tournament. On his passive, we'll get key +5 and attack and defense +150%. Then gain an additional attack and defense +100% when performing a super attack when facing only one enemy. Then gain key +5 when facing 2 or more enemies, and attack and defense +30% up to 150 when performing an ultra super attack per existing enemy. Count starts from the second enemy, then he'll gain key +5 and attack +59% for the rest of the battle after delivering a final blow. Gotta love final blows, eh? This is another one where it will benefit him hugely, where he kind of needs it. And then gain an additional attack and defense +100% when key is 21 or more. I mean, he does get a bunch of key in his passive when you're facing multiple enemies, which is to obviously trigger the AoE 18 key. He's just not very good. He doesn't have a whole lot going for him. And there are numerous better options to be running. Like, he's just not great. Unfortunately, this was a little bit of a fumble in terms of a release. But as I said, in terms of timing, it's kind of good for global players because a lot of us are going to be saving for LRSSJ4 Goku. But he'll also, on his active, massively raise attack temporarily, cause ultimate damage to the enemy, which can be activated when HP is 59% or less, starting from the 3rd turn from the start of battle, or can be activated when facing only one enemy, starting from the 5th turn from the start of battle. It's a huge shame the rest of his kit is a bit meh, considering his active skill conditions are actually kind of alright. So yeah, there's that. His link skills are Saiyan Warrior Race, All in the Family, Saiyan Lineage, Z Fighters, Prepared for Battle, Fierce Battle, Legendary Power, and his categories are Pure Saiyans, Movie Heroes, Goku's Family, Final Trump Card, Turtle School, Bond of Friendship, Bond of Parent and Child, Earthbred Fighters, and Power of Wishes. Moving swiftly on, there are going to be even more missions, and we're going to get the renewal of a Super Strike event, which means a Super Strike renewal EZA for this Vegeta. Kind of a cool little art. In terms of what he does, he'll greatly raise attack by 50% on super, cause supreme damage for medium chance of stunning, and his passive will get attack and defense +150%, then gain an additional attack +100% when key is 6 or more, then gain an additional defense +100% when key is 8 or more, then have a 30% chance of evading enemies' attack when key is 10 or more, then launch an additional attack that has a 50% chance of becoming a super attack when performing a super attack. That sounded really weird. Launches an additional attack that has a 50% chance of becoming a super attack when performing a super attack. It's just because you say super attack back to back. But basically, if you super, he will have a 50% chance of doing another one. He'll then gain an additional attack and defense +10% per key sphere obtained, and that helps because he randomly changes key spheres of a certain type to AGL key spheres when facing an enemy whose name includes Goku. So while you're not going to be hopping into Shadow Dragon event with him or Red Zone Zamasu anytime soon, I'm not going to lie, for a free-to-play EZA, for a free-to-play Strike Renewal EZA, he's actually not bad. He's actually fairly alright. So any SBR or ESBR stages that pops up where you could run this guy, Inhuman Deeds being one of them, he sure goes on. Yeah, he does. Inhuman Deeds potentially coming up if we don't have it already. you could probably slide him on the team and actually do fairly okay. Then we'll be getting new GT Goku event and Vegeta event missions, and I did take a look at these before recording this video, and the only JP ones we're missing are Bond of Parent and Child and Planetary Destruction, which I'm pretty sure we're probably going to get both of these. The GT Goku event and Vegeta event incredibly easy, so in terms of completing these, especially with the easy age dropping, especially for Go Bros, it should be fairly easy to do these, like to just fly through. That is just free 5 stones for you, and of course the tickets as well to summon on the banners, which aren't that great, but you'll take 10 stones. And then from the Vegeta event missions as well, which I can only imagine are the exact same because that's the way they do things now. Are they the exact same? No, we're looking at Pure Saiyan's Goku's family of movie bosses. Right, we're probably going to be getting all of these, which if we do, again, you're just picking up 3 stones. If they do 2 of them, you're getting 20 stones for essentially for free because they're so easy to do. Like, think about how stacked these categories are and how easy these events are. If there's all 3 of them, that's 25 stones for 3, which that's 25 more stones for your LR Goku fund. Specifically, LRSSJ4 Goku Fund, not the doo-doo guy that's coming in part 2 in this celebration. There's not too much left before we end the video, but there is, of course, going to be more stone sales, ritual summons, another time battle. Does anyone still play this? Let me know. I probably should, because it just gives you orbs and stuff for, like, no effort. There's also going to be a new challenge event, which this is essentially a daily... is it daily? I'm not sure if it's daily. It might be daily. I'm pretty sure it is daily, but it's basically a skill orb event. You'll get some stones as well from defeating 45 or more enemies in one attempt and encounter the Kyokunuman or Kyokunman. You know, we tried. But mainly it's a skill orb event, so make sure you're grinding this for not only the skill orbs but also the stones as well. They're decent pickups. And then there'll be a new SBR stage as well, which is looking to be... yeah, it's looking to be either... or both, but I'm pretty sure either World Tournament or Dragon Ball Seekers, so do get ready for those. Again, these are kind of easy to do as well. It's pretty much just get hit hard back. We're going to get the 48th World Tournament, which we all love World Tournament, but I mean, grind it for like the easy stones you can get, then dip out. And then that is everything coming in Turles' celebration from part 1 to part 2. There's also an extra part on JP as well, where the Study Hard, Play Hard Turtle School event basically always will have launch pop up, which means you will get a Kai and a bunch of Zenny, and then the Big Bucks Hercule challenge will be held anytime on Saturdays during the period, where you can get even more Zenny as well. And it also says here there are also events where you can get EX skill orbs that can be used for Turles and Goku who become friends in Dokkan Fest One Legendary Summon, which I'm pretty sure is the one we just went through. But that is also quite nice that they kind of buff these events so we get increased resources. But that is everything coming in Turles' celebration from part 1, part 2, and the small extra as well. I said, let me know in the beginning and down in the comments, will you be summoning for Turles? Will you be summoning for Goku? Can't imagine too many of you will be, but do let me know, and I'll see you in the next video, guys. Take care, have a good rest of your day, and peace.